Greetings, people of the world. Matthew back with you here at Overall Autism for the start of Final Fantasy XIV's 4th expansion, Shadowbringers. With the Scions lost to us through the power of a man who has an agenda that he wants us to take care of, we have to go and take care of it for him, and hopefully in the process, also bring back the Scions who have been lost to us. This is an adventure that is definitely going to bring out the darkness in us, and as I'm sure you've seen many trailers that have definitely ruined a lot of the plot for us already, but for those of you who haven't, it's time for us to go and unleash hell. Let's go and be on our way. So, apologies for getting started so late, but yeah, YouTube having a thing, and it was not fun. But at least we can finally begin. So, as we stand here in Mordona on a very gloomy day, there's something that is shining through the purple sky, and that would be the Crystal Tower, a place we've been asked to go to because we need to go there for purposes of saving the Scions once again, like we had to back in Heaven's Ward, but this time we're doing it with a brand new Warrior of Light. With Corinne's task finished and a new expansion started, it's time to pass on the torch once again. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor and privilege to introduce you to our new Warrior of Light, hailing all the way from Doma, Shinji Okuri. And he will be taking on the brand new adventure of Shadowbringers. So hey there, Elizabeth, and to everyone else that's just logging on, we're glad to have you with us here today. So, greetings, people of the world. Matthew back with you here at Overall Autism for the start of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers live. To begin our journey, we have to start by going to pay visits to a place we know all too well, the Rising Stones. So, let's be on our way, because we are patiently awaiting word on an expedition currently being led by Garland Ironworks to try and figure out how we might possibly be able to save the Scions from a plight that has been brought onto them for some time now. During Stormblood, we've been experiencing crazy hallucinations in our mind, but these hallucinations have had a secondary effect, in that it's knocked out our fellow Scions one by one. In fact, the only Scions we have left to have our backs are Tataru and Kryl. The two female Lalafels are the only two who are left. So we are now waiting word that hopefully Tataru can give us good news that we can figure out how we can be able to overcome what we've been forced to endure, and how we might be able to bring the Scions back to where they belong. So let's go ahead and speak with Tataru to take on the level 70 main story quest entitled The Circus Trench. Tataru is itching to share what appears to be good news.
Good news, Shinji. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon.
Do tell.
Apparently, our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower.
Oh, that's good to know.
A path I doubt we've ever had the Ironworks and the Suns not added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes aplenty down there, checking under rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, or we say, we'd better go give them a hand. Or it sounds like tedious work, but not as tedious as waiting around, I suppose. And yeah, you'll notice the options for doing text now appears at the bottom of the screen by and large. So, we better go and give them a hand.
My thoughts exactly. The sooner we find this beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever it is this mysterious voice is coming from. And the sooner we can work out how to help out our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up, and before the Empire comes calling again, meaning we have no time to lose.
Yeah, we'd better get to it.
There's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way.
And so, away we shall go. The first quest for the new Warrior of Light begins. So let's make our way back out into Remnant's Toll and prepare to go and find out what's going on. Because yeah, we've had to... The source of the science getting taken away from us, and us being forced to go to wherever it is we're going, is this guy with a creepy hood. Yeah, he's not from Assassin's Creed, although the way he's been taking our science away, he might as well be from Assassin's Creed. Also, did anyone notice that the word North had it changed to lowercase in the end? Yeah, that's kind of weird. But, yeah, weird does not even begin to describe everything that we've had to go through over the course of the last 2 patches in Stormblood. And we decided that Corinne has already done more than enough liberating not 1 but 2 nations. So, it's time to pass on her powers to someone else, and that's why Shinji is here. Let's speak with the St. Cornic ferryman. Heading to the survey site, sir. It's on the eastern shore of the lake, and the swiftest way is to get out by boat. So let's make our way over there right now. So yeah, we have some very interesting music, and also Hori Boulder and Coltonay have also come to join us from over at the Rising Stones. Hey, Tataru. Yeah, let's check the place out. Yeah, quite an interesting temple we found down here. As Harry Boulder and Coltonay and the members of the Garland Ironworks try and figure it all out.
Look how many people there are!
Hey, anything to save the heroes!
Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a pile.
Device-like.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look. We've found bugger all without you.
Hey there, Biggs. Oh, and there's Wedge.
Wedge!
Yeah, Wedge does the thing for Tataru.
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions.
Well, we appreciate that.
Jesse called it the chief of some other business, so we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
Thrice as hard, even.
I like Wedge's new voice.
Both of you. I'm sure we'll find that beacon in no time.
I hope so too. So let's continue on looking.
I'm not seeing anything out here. Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
Well, at least Biggs is strong enough to pull you out.
I could try if you like.
Tataru, no!
Yeah, it seems
We
like
couldn't
Tataru's
ask you
already
to do that.
always getting herself
Oh,
in
I'll
trouble
be
when she goes on
fine.
one of her
This
adventures.
receptionist is not
So
afraid
yeah, let's
to
see
get
what
her
Shinji
hands
can locate.
dirty.
And then, it looks like something has actually caught our attention. What have we found?
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in.
Well, it did seem to have the Garland Ironworks logo on it.
What's that you got there? Now
Well?
that looks promising.
I hope you're right.
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Hopefully not. But then,
Now I have you.
yeah,
You all
remember
right?
this guy from Stormblood?
What's happening?
Now he's got his grasp on Shinji too.
Stay with me. Focus on my voice. Let expanse contract. Eon become instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Oh, safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
I'll do what I can. Yeah, the guy who messed with Corinne's mind and the Scion's mind now has Shinji. And so now we're gonna get whisked away to somewhere that is far from Eorzea and anywhere else we've been to before. Yeah, we're amidst the stars. Yeah, trying to get a bearing of where we are. But now it's time for us to go forward. And we're seeing a whole bunch of crystal shards coming our way. Each of them containing the memory of a voice that we've heard in the past.
Oh, do not look at me so.
Including, yeah, Portiafon, who Mathia encountered.
We did everything right. Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this.
Yeah, even the Warrior of Darkness, who Mathia also encountered. Yeah, all told, it's been a full collection of the people who we've seen in the past through the previous Warriors of Light. Hey Adam, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. Yeah, and then, above a waterfall...
Your time has not yet come.
Yeah, someone named the Oracle of Light is trying to get our attention. Yeah, who is this young lady? Well, after our journey concludes and the dust settles... Yeah, we find ourselves among some ruins. And standing in the middle is this ominous black cloud. With footsteps, and feet, and legs, walking, trying to get somewhere. But to where, who knows? Hi Chaz, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. Yeah, as this specter looks to the skies. There's Shinji. Yeah, come around, young man. You were willing to be brave to take the torch from Corinne. But now you have to accept her burden. So yeah, this almost looks like a dream. The grass and the plants here are purple, not green. Yeah, it's almost like we're in a dream sequence here. So we gotta look around.
Endless dreams I awake.
Yeah, trying to get our bearings.
Vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more.
Yeah, is there any sign of life? Is there anyone around? Well, actually there is. We found a chocobo. So that's promising. And as well as a campfire. Yeah, let's see who runs the campfire. Yeah. Hello there, sir. And yeah, he looks like one of the peddlers you meet when you start 14.
Someone out here is not a peddler themselves. What brings you into the wilds this time of night?
Night? Yeah. What are you talking about? Are you sure? Yeah. What do you mean this time of night? Yeah, but it's as bright as day.
Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me granddad, God's rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time.
Like, what the heck?
And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk yet, he'd reply.
Yeah, let's try and chill out with this guy and see what he's getting on about.
Over 100 bleeding years ago, that's when.
100 years? Yeah, the look of shock on Shinji's face pretty much says it all. Not to mention the foliage.
You got that look down to a T. I'd almost think you meant it.
Because he did.
Ah, got to you, did they? Poor beggar. That explains it then.
No thanks, I don't drink. Yeah, besides, Shinji drinks sake, he's from Doma.
Well, I've roads to travel and wares to sell, but you'd best hurry along to the town nearby.
Yeah. Can I hitch a ride with you?
Just head east
Choco?
through the trees and aim for the Shining Tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around.
Actually, if it was Heaven's Ward, it would be snowing.
Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
Yeah, if it was Heaven's Ward, there'll be snow all over. And hey Lou, welcome to the stream, glad to have you with us. Yeah, sorry I can't be with you there just yet. Yeah, that's gonna take a while for me, playing on this guy. Playing as the new Warrior of Light. So now that we've met our first person...
To dizzying heights it rises. The gleaming spire. Its tip threatening to pierce the blinding canopy.
And it looks just like the Crystal Tower.
There, it will all begin anew. Between dark and light. The pure and the corrupt. The one true struggle.
And thus, we get to see the intro to Shadowbringers and what it will entail. Alright, so away we go. Well, I know that there, Lou, but as the way the game is set up, it pretty much is. So yeah, you may be wondering, if we found someone, where are the enemies? Well, thankfully, no enemies yet. They will come, but not just yet. So down this creepy purple path we will be walking. And over here we find a fortification. The Extensor Gates will be our next stop.
Halt!
Oh, who goes there? It would be a Viera. Yeah, we got to meet Fran back in Stormblood. And she was a Viera too.
Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not.
Yeah, you sound like the Wood Whalers back in Gridania.
This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper. If you would enter, you will answer my questions.
Okay, ask away.
From where do you hail?
Where do we hail? From Gridania, from the source, or say nothing? Well, this is inaccurate. Gridania is inaccurate for Shinji because he's from Doma. We can tell him the source. Because that's actually part of Gridania.
Source? What is this cryptic nonsense?
Or rather, Gridania is a part of it.
Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin. But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass.
Wow. I don't have to... Yeah, I don't have to take arms against you. But, yeah. Apparently she was going after something else. Should I be grateful that you saved me? Or pissed off because you won't let me into town?
That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand. Ring and all.
Yeah, what do you mean? As we look at this ring... Yeah, it was on the merchant's hand. Which means, yeah, it didn't end well for him. And who is this coming our way?
Everything all right, Captain?
Yeah, it's the guy with the hood from the end of Stormblood.
Quite all right, my lord. Just a stray sin-eater, and a weak one at that.
Hey, Isabel, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us.
Weak or not, we should be on the lookout for more.
Yeah, here he goes by the title of Crystal Exarch. Yeah, we know who you are.
But I see you've met my guest. I will escort him to the Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious friends, is it? I should have known.
Oh, you've experienced this before.
Very well. I'll inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city.
Yeah. Thank you.
Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But as for you...
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Yeah, because you still have a lot of explaining to do. A lot of explaining to do. Well, what are you waiting for? Out with it.
Right then. Before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons.
You didn't give us a choice!
I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters, but I fear my aim was slightly off. That you were still able to make the crossing unharmed is a great relief. And so, we come to the question of where.
Uh-huh.
The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections, or shards. The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch, I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions.
By the methods you've been implementing? Couldn't you just come to us and say, hey, I need your help, come over here? Yeah, instead you had to do it in a really creepy way. Yeah. Are the other signs here, or do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused?
An inkling, yes. I can only beg your forgiveness. Matters here forced my hand, but all shall be explained in due course, I promise you. Let us begin with the glaring skies up above.
Yeah, kind of hard not to notice them.
Here in the first, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light. It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path. More than 9/10 of this star was lost.
That's a lot. And I mean a lot.
And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin-eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity.
Yeah, and he killed off the poor merchant.
It was to save the First from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds. That I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes.
Well, it's not like you did the best job of that.
Depriving a world of its champion, I had to try. For in saving the First, you would bring salvation to the Source as well.
What do you mean? Yeah, we don't seem convinced.
But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road?
Yeah.
Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
Yeah, that's where we gotta go. And we gotta follow this guy. Yeah, he's still treading on thin ice, by the way. So it's time for us to check this place out and see what's going on in here. Eventually, because, yeah, of course, since it's day one, it's going to be very busy. And thus we've arrived. Yeah. Also, your hand is really creepy.
Such a proud and vibrant city. The sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope. The town itself a symbol. A monument to defiance in the face of death. No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
And so we get our official introduction to the Crystarium. So now we get to check this place out. This is essentially our hub city. So let's go ahead and speak with the Exarch to complete the first quest. And here we are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. And with that, we get 460,000 experience points, 1,299 gil. We get the Shadowbringers Orchestrion roll. Plus, we get something that's different here for Shadowbringers. A weapon coffer, and this will subsequently also be done for armor and accessory coffers. Whatever warrior class you are on, when you open the chest, you will get a weapon, piece of armor, or accessory associated with it. So we'll go ahead and complete the quest. And since Dragoon is the only warrior class that Shinji has at experience level 70, that means we're gonna open this up and he will claim whatever's inside, and it'll be as a Dragoon. So he obtains a White Oak Partisan, high quality. They'll always be high quality, these particular weapons, armors, and accessories, just like they were in Heaven's Ward and in Stormblood. So now let's go ahead and seek with Crystal Exarch to take on his next level 70 main story quest entitled City of the First. The Crystal Exarch has a request for you. Now, a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my study would seem to be in order. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you to first gain a firmer grasp of the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. And so, how are we going to go about that? Well, we see something we see very familiar in other games, an Aetheryte. As you can see, this path will take you directly to the Aetherites, a convenience with which I am sure you are only too familiar.
Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should in theory be able to reach all the way back along your etheric trail and find a connection in the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. Of course. Just like in any other city we've been to. After you have done so, walk up to the steps next to the Aetheryte and head out to the left to arrive in the Crystalline Mean. This is where you'll find our collector of crafters and gatherers, as well as their spokeswoman, Cutlass, one of the people I should like you to meet. Yeah, Cutlass? Are you sure it's not Katniss? I volunteer as tribute! Another is Morin. To reach him and his Cabinet of Curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps. Take the exit on the left and simply continue straight along and down until you come to the large door at the end of the path. And then, the third and final person I should like you to meet is Broggy, our man in charge of trade and distribution. He is to be found in the markets, which you can access from the opposite side of the Aetheryte Plaza. In seeking out each of my colleagues, you'll visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel for the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Yeah. Crystal clear. Although not always, because this place is actually quite confusing on where to go. Ah, very good. I concede the layout of the Crystarium owes more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. In all honesty, the true challenge may be in finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars, and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. Yeah, that's not good. That being the case, when they ask whence you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share a homeland with the Crystal Exarch. There's an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. When you have finished making the rounds, pray meet me in the large courtyard at the center of town. Until then. And so away we shall go. Yeah, also, you're definitely going to be kept busy there for a while there, Isabel. But yeah, you have to get 5 through? You need to pace yourself a little. Don't push yourself too hard and just take it as it comes and do things when you need to do them. Don't do them right away. So now we have our first Aetheryte connection, so let's start meeting the people that the Exarch wants us to meet. Starting by going up the stairs and going to the left. And then once we make our way over there, we'll be able to speak with Cutlass. So yeah, here's where the initial merchants are. And somewhere around here we should find our first person of interest. Yeah, here's Cutlass. Nice to meet you, young lady. Well, of course, she's still a young girl. Rare to see a place so well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. Yeah, Candace would happen to be in Ellison. I guess going to guess you're new to our fair city? Well, for what it's worth, you've chosen a fine sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier if the Sun Eaters come knocking, so it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer and more civilized too, thanks to us in the Mean. We work together to procure materials and resources and craft the goods which make city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended or a kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll all be handed to you on a plate like those Yulmoran layabouts. Here in the Crystarium, we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor, you don't have that whiff of indolence about you like some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. Where's it you're from? Well, we can tell you what the Exarch told us to say. One of the Exarch's countrymen, you say? I see. Well then, I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him, and any friend of his is a friend of ours. Yeah, what are we looking at? Probably the top of the tower. It's really quite incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the Crystal Tower into existence. Pulled the entire thing out of thin air. It wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. And that's how the Crystarium began. At the Exarch's invitation, buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. The city stood here for decades now, yet the eldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He is indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy has never yet let us down. So if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I am, however, more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you want to contribute on that front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just ask for Cutlass and I'll find you a niche here in the crystalline mine. You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. So your exchange with Cutlass has taught you about life in the Crystarium. And to that end, we also want to attune to this Aethernet shard over here. So we'll go ahead and attune to it. Yeah, this is something we'll be doing for a while, so make sure you keep paying attention. Alright, so now that we've met with her, it's time for us to go back towards the Aetheryte Plaza. And from there, we'll be moving on to the next destination that the Exarch wanted us to visit. So yeah, we're gonna jump over the edge like that guy just did. And then head down this way. Gonna take a long time to get 29 classes 80 to 80. Yeah, someone's apparently going for 100%. And so did I. I also am taking vacation time for this. I took this week off of work, but next week I have to go back to work. So, similar to Stormblood, I will be doing 3 streams a day from Tuesday through Sunday, and then on Monday we'll be going back to a regular stream schedule during the evening. So let's go ahead and attune to the Cabinet of Curiosities Aetheryte. And then we'll go ahead and head up these stairs in order to find the person we want to speak to. So yeah, this is essentially a giant library. And here's where Moren is. As we have a look around. Excuse me, sir. Are you recently come to the city perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic rules, you see, and, well... Yeah. Hello there, sir. And yes, that is the guy. What I mean to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? I'm afraid I have not. My apologies. Literature is something of an obsession of mine as well as a profession. Librarian Moren at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of perception have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manner of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land wrought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage to recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today? Looking for any title in particular? Mayhap a spot of academic research? Well, actually... Oh, so you've an interest in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of recent events can often yield novel perspectives, I quite agree. If you prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history book for you for children somewhere. Just a moment and I'll fetch it for you. Yeah, children? Yeah, this is a full-grown Ora you're talking to.
And so, sometime later... And here we are. Would you like to pull up a chair? Make yourself more comfortable? On with the lesson then. Yeah, he's got the book that he wanted to show us. But why is it for children? But anyway, time for an explanation. 100 years ago, or near enough not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadowkeeper, the Steward of Darkness. So the Warriors of Light are the bad guys here? That doesn't make much sense. In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease until the day an enormous blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. We called this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yeah, let's have a look at it. Yet just when it seemed that all would be lost, a savior appeared before us. The Oracle of Light. She stood twixt us and approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvrant, and Norvrant alone, spared the fate of erasure. And then what else happened? Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended hordes of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk who survived. These Sin Eaters were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from Norvrant's sky. Even now they circle the remaining bastions of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. Yeah, who would have thought that something good could turn so bad? Too much of a good thing, maybe? And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear the tale again, I would be glad to retell it for you. Or if you would, I would rather speak of my other matters. That too would be my pleasure. I should be glad of the company. Your exchange with Morn has taught you about the Flood of Lights. And so now that we've gained that lesson, let's go ahead and drop down to the bottom. Warp back to the Aetheryte Plaza. And then continue south. So yeah, we want to go over this way. Arriving in the Rotunda and speaking with this guy named Bragi. And Bragi here is the first instance of what you will be playing as if you chose to do so, a Rothgar, a human-animal hybrid number 3 that has a lot more animal face on them than human. So let's go ahead and speak with Bragi and see what he has to say. So let's check this place out. You know, we have quite a few things to see here. New to the city, friend. The spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Yeah. Well, hello there. Welcome. My name is Bragi and I'm the master of these markets. They gave the distinct another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it. Too flawed by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for drones such as yourself, so finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. Drawn? Yeah, I'm sorry, did you say John? Or actually, I'm an Aura. Yeah, we should probably tell him what we actually are. Must be a dialect I'm not familiar with. Yeah, you want to point us in the direction of this group of people. Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The shorter one is a Hume. And the taller one is an elf. That sturdy individual over there is a Goldiant, also known as a Rogadin. Whilst the one with the horns is a Dron like you. And then, here's something you wouldn't expect to see. And then you have the large, scaly chaps with long tails and a knack for raising livestock. Those will be the Zune. But in Eorzea, we would know them as something else. The Amalja. So what is an Amalja equivalent like this doing in the city and living normally? Well, y'all just have to wait and find out with that one. But yeah, Nomikote? Or Lalafels? Which is apparently not the name you know them by. Now, I'm curious to know from which far-flung region you hail from. Yeah, Nomikote or Lalafell live here? Ah, the same as the Exarch, eh? Well, that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. We've had a few of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite their obvious learning, they've floundered over the simplest things. But not to worry, should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. Your exchange with Bragi has taught you about the peoples of the Firsts. But yeah, sad face, no cat love! Yeah, no cat love at all. Before we go anywhere though, we should probably attune over here. Yeah, they stuck the Aetherite for this place over here. So let's go ahead and attune to it. And then once we've done that, we can go ahead and go back to the Aetherite Plaza. And then once we've done that, let's go ahead and find where the Exarch is. Yeah, he's out in this wide open area called the Excedra. And there's also an Aetherite here too, so we're gonna go ahead and attune to this first. So let's go ahead and attune in front of the Docile Gate. And then come back to speak with the Exarch again. Well, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clear picture of this world and its people? Well, we were given all this information. Yes, it seems we were treated to a most thorough introduction. I understand it was something mature, but 'twas necessary that you grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origin, you may have noted that the details were sparse. The structure is in fact the self-same one you know from the source, transported to the First in its entirety. How? It was my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds, something of a trial run for your eventual crossing, and although I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know that its arrival served to set the wheels of fate in motion. And thus, we get another 460,000 experience points, 825 gil, plus a chest coffer. So we'll go ahead and open that up. Now, given that all my equipment is over at 400 right now, I am not in any hurry to put on this bright linen tabard of maiming, so we're gonna just give it off to the markets or something, and so we'll proceed to take on the Crystal Exarch's next quest in just a moment.